tonight, an award-winning British actress with an astounding portfolio of work.
Yes, she has 27 films, 78 television roles and 40...
It's a good job that she's written an autobiography to keep track of everything.
It's Celia Imrie.
Lovely to see you, Celia. Now then, if you could choose one of the roles from back in the 70s to the present day, which one would be your favourite?
Well, it's very naughty, but one of my absolute favourites is Nanny McPhee.
Oh.
Not over the top at all performance, I hope. But you know, the kids were great, and who wouldn't want to be rolling on the floor with Colin Firth?
Who wouldn't, Celia? Who wouldn't?
In fact, he gave me a black eye. I've got a black eye already, which I got on number 390 bus,
Right.
which was rather unfortunate.
What happened?
Because I was looking for my cat food with it rolled underneath the seat, and I bashed my head on one of those poles, you know, with my sunglasses on. So that was really bad. But when I did Nanny McPhee with Colin Firth, I had another year, and everybody said, "Celia, what have you done? What have you done?" And I said, "Who gave you that?" And I said, "Well, the most dashing Colin Firth." And I was very proud of it, and I used to show it off rather a lot.
Yeah. Well, shall we see a clip? Here we go then.
And that was a real worm, wasn't it?
That was a real worm. I said to the director that I was quite a good sport, and he said, "So would you really eat the worm, Sam?" I have to tell you that no worm was harmed in the filming of that film.
Right. Good news.
I love that I managed to, you know, lick my lips after it as well, while it was still in my mouth.
Yeah.
How brave.
It did look like you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could
But
you taste it or
wiggled.
not?
No, I didn't keep it there. But it did wiggle away at the end.
Put plenty of butter on first. That's the way I always do.
Well, we'll be talking more to Celia later and finding out why she calls herself a happy hoofer.
Reveal that the number of people were 130,000 in the last 12 months.
With hundreds of thousands in the next 4 years, there is increased pressure on the private sector to create more jobs.
Many argue that public sector workers have had it too easy and ask, what do they have to offer the private sector? Well, entrepreneur Deborah Meaden from Dragon's Den is here to tell us what she thinks.
Now, before we talk to Deborah, let's find out what happened when youth worker Kelly Wiltshire, who has been working in the public sector for the past 11 years, handed her CV to Deborah.
If you receive that, what would you learn about you as a person?
I've been in this and got various different qualifications and certificates in different areas of the field.
Shall I bring that back over this side of the desk?
Yeah.
Shall I tell you what I read from that?
Okay.
I read from somebody who is committed to a job. It doesn't tell me whether you're actually any good at the job. It just tells me you're committed to it.
Yeah.
I need to understand what it is that you've got, what strengths you bring to the role that make you good at what you're doing at the moment.
I've been with Norfolk County Council for a long, quite excited about the thought of doing something.
You're not risk averse. You're brave. Building your own house, that's brave. You're not a box ticker. You know, all of those things to me are music to my ears, because if you stay too long in the public sector, you can sometimes become a box ticker.
So there we are. So Kelly's being made redundant in the next month. What do you think are her chances of getting a job then in the private sector?
I think they're very good. And I have to say, my view changed from the beginning, from the first time I met her to the end of being with her, because she just, at one point, I got it. I thought, oh, Kelly, there's so much more to you than you're showing me on your CV.
And do you think, from an employer's point of view, that there is a prejudice out there from public sector workers to private workers?
I think there could be a prejudice, but, you know, there's prejudice against there are always prejudices present. The point is to understand what they are and present yourselves in a way that overcomes those prejudices.
Yeah, fair enough. But Kelly there was 29. She's got youth on her side. What about older people then who are leaving the public sector?
Well, I think it's less about age. I mean, I think what happens as you get towards what could be perceived as the end of your career, people start thinking, well, are they winding down? Are they just going to sort of work their time out? And if you know that's the worry of the person you're talking to, then address it. Say, look, you know, I really want to do this because I'm really enthusiastic about this. I've got great skills, I've got great experience, and show it and behave it. Don't just say this is what I can do. Act it. You know, it's show people. I've still got it in me. I've still got it in me.
Yeah, you do read a lot in the newspapers, you know, accusing the public sector of having it too easy. Do you think that that's the case?
I don't think per se. What I do think is that it is an employer's market at the moment, and everybody has got to be realistic about what they're going to get in terms of holidays, in terms of pay, in terms of the entire package. So I do think there needs to be a touch of realism, but actually that applies to private sector workers as well. You know, it's a tough time, and as I say, it's an employer's market.
Have you hired somebody from the public sector?
Well, I've gone one step further. I've actually invested in somebody. So Neil and Laura from Magic Whiteboard, they came onto Dragon's Den and they were working in the NHS. And I invested in them. I had no idea what a... He's a red-hot entrepreneur. They are red-hot entrepreneurs. No idea what we had. When they came to the den, they turning over 70,000 a year. Last month, they turned over £100,000. And they did that. And I don't even think they knew what they had and what they could do.
Is it very exciting for you when you suddenly have found somebody and then they go skywards? It must be thrilling.
It is the most... It's why I do it. It's the most enjoying thing. And as I say, these guys, I don't even think they knew it. And that's a very important point. There's a great opportunity for people here to reappraise. They thought they were in a safe environment. And actually the world isn't that place anymore. And it's their moment where they could think to themselves, actually, am I doing what I want to do? Or is this a great opportunity for me to reappraise and do something else?
But you encouraged it.
They did it. They did it. What I say is my job is to open the door. It's their job to go through it and make of it, but it's my job to open it.
And there's a lot of skilled workers out there. I mean,
Yes, there are.
But anyway.
Thanks, Deborah. Great advice there. And you can see Deborah and some other entrepreneurs take on the role of work mentors on Newsnight tonight at 10:30.
Right, well, we have an amazing story for you now, one that I'm sure will warm many, many hearts. It's about how a woman who signed up to donate bone marrow by chance in 1981 ended up saving the life of a little girl almost 30 years later.
The One Show's Joe Crowley has been to introduce them. Now, you might want a tissue for this one.
Thanks. Donors on the show, you know, it's so important to be a donor, and that's why you should.
Are you a donor?
What a wonderful... Well, in theory I am, but you see, I don't know whether I've got my card in my bag. My son is absolutely adamant about it and said, you must.
Right,
and actually a story like that is so uplifting, isn't it?
Just,
30 years later.
Remarkable, I know.
I know. Well, for more information on how you can donate bone marrow to help people like Ella, please visit our website bbc.co.uk/The One Show.
Now then, Celia, we've got your book here, just beside us. You're very proud of it. You finished it, what, just a month ago?
I think, absolutely, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And an incredible... called The Happy Hoofer.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you know what hoofers are, do you?
Go on.
It's slang for a chorus girl, really, because that's how I began. A hoofer is a dancer, and generally a chorus dancer. And that's how I began. And I think there was a film called The Happy Hooker. That's a little bit different.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Oh, gosh.
Yes, there you are.
Lovely
Yes,
still
there are. That's me winning my choreography competition, actually. I think I came third, dancing to the Night on the Bare Mountain. I remember it very well.
And as a youngster, you were very much into dancing, weren't you? But you failed to get into the Royal College of Ballet.
Yes.
Because you were too tall, is that right?
Too tall, too big, just not the figure for a dancer. I mean, it's a bit like being a jockey. You know, there are certain professions where you simply have to be the size, and I wasn't. But it was quite tough to hear that.
Yeah, and unfortunately then that led to anorexia, didn't it?
Yes, because I thought I could get small, you see. There was a sort of logic to it. But terrible waste of time, terrible waste of life, and much more common now, sadly.
Yeah, and you spend quite a bit of time, don't you, going around and giving talks?
Well, I don't exactly, but if I can help anybody, you know, just get themselves out of it, because actually in the end it is you, I'd be happy to try and persuade somebody. But it's a tough one, because I didn't really listen to people. But I'm happy to help anybody if they want to listen to me, because they can get themselves out of it.
Of course. And the ballet didn't quite work out, but you did have a very big crush, didn't you, on one dancer. I think we've got a picture of Rudolf Nureyev here.
I don't know.
What a dreamboat.
Rudolf Nureyev, Colin Firth.
I know. Wasn't lucky.
All the greats. All the greats.
So it didn't quite work out on the dancing front. Is that then what sort of took you through?
Doing a lot of chorus dancing in musicals and things like that. And it took quite a while. But I'm not sure I'd be sitting here if I was a ballet dancer. The thing is, I love making people laugh. To me, it's like a sort of drug.
Yeah.
And I don't think ballet dancers do make people laugh very much, unless they fall over. So,
Well, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to be hearing about your book a little bit later, including how you ended up in the mouth of Jaws.
ooh, yes.
There we are, yes, there you go.
Oh, that's a phenomenal
That's
picture.
for real Jaws as
Well,
well.
we'll hear about that a little bit later on now. Now then, Angelica Bell probably has one of the most interesting jobs on the One Show. She gets to travel around the country looking for places that have a certain claim to fame.
So far in the series, she's found out things like how Worcester is the home of the oldest newspaper in the world.
Yes, and that Croydon Airport was once the country's biggest and most glamorous.
Who'd have thought that? Anyway, what's she going to find out in Fishguard? That's the question.
Most people think the last invasion of Britain was at Hastings in
Fred Ackman Group, sterling performance from them. They were
Yeah.
in every scene.
Yeah,
She couldn't get rid of them.
That's it! Ta-da!
Yeah. Brilliant stuff, and they can put live telly on there now as well as pre-recorded stuff. Anyway, right, Celia, you've picked out some wonderful photos for us. Will you just talk us through just a few of them? We've got 3, I think. So this first one here.
Well, I love the way I was trying to put my wand right up into the air. If somebody told me if I'd put my hand at the bottom of the wand, I'd have got it even higher. I wasn't listening, but my knickers are falling down.
Are you on the right or the left there?
You're the little one, aren't
See,
you?
I'm the one with the knickers falling down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's Juliet, my sister, who's a petunia.
That's a lovely
Of
picture.
course.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Go on then.
Here we are.
My mum and my darling Angus. And that's in I picked out a fireplace along the road, which didn't fit in my house, so I put it in the garden. And when I came back for my birthday, my friends had painted my garden into the living room with the fireplace, and the grass was the carpet and the wallpaper on the fence.
And was that a good thing?
Well, that was lovely, because then I changed the inside of the house into the garden, you can see. You see, so it's all inside out.
And your mum has been a lot of inspiration for many of the roles they give you.
Nearly all of them.
Nearly all?
Actually, yes. She's no longer here, but I think she's watching. And yes, she is. She really is. She pops up in everything I do.
Okay.
Here's the final
Yes,
one.
the Jaws thing. What's all that
Now,
about?
this is really the real Jaws. And I was on a wonderful world tour with Glenda Jackson. And we were at Universal Studios, and we were going along in one of those awful trains, you know, and then I spotted, we'd been in Sydney, that's right, and I had an absolute obsession with sharks. I thought I was going to be eaten by one. So then we came about, there was this shark in 3 pieces on the side of the road, and I said, oh, can I quickly have a look at this? So they said, go on, Seals, get inside the mouth. So I said, okay, so there I am. And we said to the guide, so what's this then? He said, oh, it's just some B movie, it'll never be shown. Steven Spielberg, I think it's called Jaws. And 6 months later, came back to England.
And there you are.
Well, we're going to move on to some more wildlife now, because they are indeed a familiar sight hovering over the motorway verges, and have certainly perked up many a long car journey of mine.
A muffin and a coffee does it for me, but anyway, our wildlife man Mike Dilger has been finding out why Britain's most common falcon has turned our roads into its dining room.
Now then, just one more thing before we go. We've been a little bit cheeky here, but Celia, this is what we got when we rang you earlier on just to check and see if you were on your way.
Hi. Not here at the moment. Do leave me a message. Bye.
Very
What's all that about?
You see, I never hear that, do I? I'd forgotten I'd done that.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
It's
for having me.
publication day tomorrow for the
Yes.
Happy Hoofers.
And I'll be at Hatchard's tomorrow and come and sign your book.
Super. We'll see you
Lunchtime tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.